Hi, it's Sam from Intrinsic Dev. Today I want to take you through how to set up our Netio driver for a LAN. Once you've downloaded the driver from our website, I suggest you head over to the Netio website. That's netio-products.com. Go to their support section and go to download. And we're going to download the Netio Discover program for Windows. What that's going to do is it's going to allow us to look up and get the IP address of the Netio units installed on your network. So you can see here I'm running the application. I'm going to go with the Netio 4 unit, and it's on 1.161 on my network. So I'm going to put that into a web browser, log into the unit. The default login for a Netio unit is admin and admin. Once in the unit, we suggest you change the default username and password. We also suggest you set a static IP by going to Settings, Network Configuration, and then Set a Static IP. What you do need to set in the web interface for the driver is the M2M API protocols. Once there, go down to JSON API, enable JSON API, and enable read-write. And in there we're going to put a username and password of our choice. I'm going to use admin and admin again. I'm going to hit save. The unit will take about a minute and it'll save those settings and it'll restart. While it's doing that, why don't we install the driver? So I'm in my LAN controller. I'm under input output and I'm going to go to relay outputs and I'm going to add a new relay output controller. We can see in the list that we've got the Intrinsic Dev Netio Basic and the Intrinsic Dev Netio Pro. If they hadn't appeared in the list, I would use the search folder button. I would select the folder I downloaded my driver to. I would click OK, and I would get a window like this with just the drivers from that folder in it. So I'm going to pick the Netio Pro, and I'm going to install it. That's installed. It's now going to go to our cloud, and it's going to check up the licensing status of that controller. And we can see there it's licensed. It's got my MAC address, and it's got the Netio Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the IP address, which is 161, the username and password from the JSON settings, not the main login for the Netio, just the JSON settings. I'm going to click apply. Before we go any further, I'm just going to tell you the difference of the drivers. So there's a Netio Pro and a Netio Basic. Basic allows for switching control only, turning the relays on and off in the unit or turning the outlets on and off in the unit. The Netio Pro does that, and it does feedback of current levels, wattage, consumption, different things like that, depending on what model you've got of Netio. Once we get the driver installed, we can see here the 4 outlets of the unit appear, and these can be connected to output controller objects or driven via event maps. That's the relay part of the driver working now. We have bundled with the driver a sample interface layout page, which will allow you to control the driver graphically and see the information being fed back from it. So I'm going to show you how to install that part now. So we go over to interface, we go to home pages, and we're going to add a new home page. Under the copy from, we want none because we want a blank page. We're going to overwrite it anyway. I'm going to call it Netio. Hit OK. And then I'm going to right click that, import from file. I'm going to go to where I downloaded the driver, which is the desktop. I'm going to click the netio.ehp file. Now that that's imported, we'll see that we've got a sample layout. This sample layout, as you can see, includes model, serial, version, frequency, power factor, all sorts of different readouts from the unit, as well as readouts from each of the independent outputs of the unit as well as 4 objects here, relay controls to actually control the units. So what I'm going to need to do now is go through each of these boxes. So I'm going to start with model, and I'm going to go to Netio Pro, hit model, do the same for serial, and this is linking up the feedback fields to the driver so that the driver can actually populate these with information. There's quite a few of these, so we'll probably end up skipping through. Once we've linked up all of the text feedback fields, we then need to link up the 4 relay controls, and these are labeled outlet 1 to 4. If we click each of those the same way we've done with the feedback fields, and just connect them to the 4 outlets from the driver. If your particular Netio device doesn't have 4 outlets and has 3, 2 or 1 depending on the model, simply ignore the extra outlets in the driver, and if needs be, remove the extra feedback fields from this interface. Any of the fields in this interface can be deleted, moved, changed, and you can build your own custom interface to suit your own client's to system design. Once we've done that, we're going to hit apply. We're going to copy down to the small format from the large format, and that'll pull all the settings with us. We then need to make sure that that's been assigned to the interface, and we do that by either pulling it into the home page. You can see here the Netio appears as a homepage object, or we can give it its own custom homepage icon, and we can do that by using user1. If we do that and move that across, hit apply, we'll see now that user 1 appears on the main interface page and it's populated with the information from the Netio. If I click these, the relays will turn on, and in a few seconds hopefully we'll see the feedback coming through from the unit. There we go. We can see the name that's been given to the unit, so these have been labelled output 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's because I'm using the Netio and it's on factory default settings. If you'd labelled your outputs in the Netio unit, you'd be seeing your custom label here. As I say, you can see the state, which is feedback driven, so once the unit's actually reported back to Elan, we're able to tell if it's on or off. We can see the current wattage, total energy, power factor, and we can see similar information for the overall unit as well. For anyone who wants to know if you want to make the user 1 look a bit nicer and more friendly, I'll show you how to do that now. Go to the System tab, go to Main tabs, select user 1. We give it a custom name, let's say power. Go to select icon, and we go to main 128 point system. And you'll see in here there's a selection of icons that match the default Elan system layout. I'm going to go with the battery with the big lightning bolt on it, as it sounds right. Click apply. And if I go back to there, we can see now that we've got power. If you want to change the home at the top, this has got home because it's a home page layout. That's easy done as well. We go to interface, go back to Netio, and we set force top level name. And what that will do is that will force the Netio name, the name for this page, onto the interface. And there you go. We've got Netio, we've got power here, and again they're customizable by you. And when you click in, you've got our sample feedback page. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Look out for many more coming.